Well, hello people, hoping you're all going well. I'm just having a thought, so I thought I'd share it with you. Just looking at different churches and what happens and the way people move around and find a church, which is fine. You've got to have a look around, see what churches are in your area and work out what suits you, you know, where your spiritual home can be. And that can be a collection of a number of things. One thing that concerns me though is when people come along to a church and they have a look for a little while and they notice there's something missing. You know, this church doesn't have a children's ministry, or it doesn't have a youth ministry, or it doesn't have a women's fellowship, or they don't have coffee afterwards. Now that may be for a number of reasons. Maybe there's no children in the church or something like that. But another thing that could be happening, and this is just what I want to put out there, one of the things that could be happening is maybe God is resting that on your heart because that's an area that he's calling you to be involved in. You know, this church doesn't have a coffee ministry. These people, you know, they leave straight after church and there's no coffee. What's going on? Maybe that's God laying on your heart that what this church needs is a coffee ministry, and you could be involved in that. Maybe no one else has felt that, nobody else has thought of it. Maybe it's occurred to you for the first time in the history of this church, and or in the last 5 years or 10 years or however long it is. But maybe no one else has received that call or responded to that call, and so God is laying that on your heart. If you sit there and you go, oh, this church doesn't have X ministry, so I'm going to go and find a church that does have that because that's what would fulfill my need, all you're doing is shopping. That's not ministry. That's not discipleship. So what happens then is you go to a place where that call stops, right? They already have that thing, so that calling on your heart stops. It goes away. Why? Because there's not that need in that particular place. What happens if everybody does that? If everybody does that, then nobody listens to the call of God, nobody responds to the call of God, and the ministry doesn't happen. The Great Commission is not fulfilled. That's my concern. If you're in a place, if you're settled in a place and it feels like a good place where you can settle in and worship God and be at peace in the church, and this is a good church for you, but you notice something arises in you that something's missing here. There's a gap here in this ministry. Then maybe that's God's way of saying, this is your place in this church and this is your ministry. Here, I will equip you. You don't have to know how to do it. I will equip you. I will empower you to fulfill X ministry in this place. I think if we responded to the call of God when it arose, if we could recognize that as a call of God when it arose, I think you'd find the church to be a much more vibrant place and much more successful, because each one of us will be fulfilling what we are in the body of Christ. Just a thought. Okay, peace. God bless.